Can we talk about gentle parenting for a second? Is gentle parenting really the problem? Or have we completely misunderstood one of the most empowered parenting approaches out there? Gentle parenting is the result of lazy, spoiled, iPad addicted kids who haunt every teacher's nightmares. But what if it has the potential to raise the most resilient kids and we just don't know how to use it properly? And look, my husband and I don't even use the gentle parenting method, so I have no reason to defend it or support it. But then I actually started researching it, really digging into where it came from and what it was supposed to be. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized we've been fighting about the wrong thing this whole time. Because gentle parenting isn't the problem. And honestly, neither are the parents. It's something else, something deeper, something we don't really talk about. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what gentle parenting actually is, not the TikTok version, the real thing. Why millennials specifically are so drawn to it, and why the method everyone loves to hate might not deserve the blame at all. Oh, and if you're someone who's absolutely convinced that gentle parenting is ruining an entire generation, stay with me because I'm going to show you a parenting style that's actually way worse. And weirdly, nobody's making memes about that one. By the way, I'm Mallory, mom of 3, all 4 years old and under. I quit my full-time job to do this whole parenting thing without completely losing my mind or repeating the past. Let's get into it. So before we can judge gentle parenting, we need to actually understand where it came from, because I think most of us are arguing against something that we've never really looked into deeply. In 2015, Sarah Ockwell Smith wrote the book that kind of started all of this. And when you actually read what she says, it's not what I expected. Gentle parenting basically means stay calm, build connections, set boundaries. Teach your kids how to handle their emotions instead of controlling them through fear. That's it. Not no rules, not let your kid run the house, not negotiate with your toddler if they were a tiny lawyer. Just regulated adults raising regulated kids. So what's actually wrong with that? If it's that simple, why does gentle parenting fall apart for so many families? And why does it fall apart faster than my diet over a long weekend? Everyone says it's the lack of discipline, that gentle parents are just too soft, too scared to be the bad guy. But that's not actually it. Here's the thing. Millennial parents love gentle parenting, and there's a lot of theories about why. Maybe it was trendy. Maybe momfluencers made it look so effortless that we thought, well, if she can do it while looking that put together, like, why can't I? Maybe it's the whole stereotype that millennials are conflict avoidant, so of course we'd pick the parenting style that promises no power struggles. But the real reason, it's so much simpler than that, and honestly, kind of painful when you sit with it. Millennials didn't choose gentle parenting. Our childhoods did. Think about it. If we're talking about an entire generation of millennial childhoods, what do you find? A lot of yelling, strict control, adults who shut down, getting punished instead of feeling connected. Learning that your emotions were inconvenient, that love came with conditions. That was basically my childhood in a nutshell. So when we finally found a parenting style that promised calmness, empathy, connection, it felt like a saving grace. It felt like finally being able to give our kids what we never had. But here's where everything goes wrong. And really quick, if you grew up with a tough childhood too and promised yourself you would parent differently than your mom and dad, drop a like below because we're all in this together. So let's answer the actual question. Is gentle parenting really the problem? Or have we completely misunderstood one of the most empowered parenting approaches out there? Here's the simple answer. Most parents who think they're doing gentle parenting aren't actually doing gentle parenting. They're doing something else entirely. Something called permissive parenting. And these two things, they are very different. Remember at the beginning when I said there's a parenting style that's actually worse than gentle parenting? One that nobody's really calling out? This is it. Permissive parenting. The biggest difference is that gentle parenting actually has boundaries and rules. Permissive parenting avoids them completely. Gentle parenting teaches emotional regulation. Permissive parenting fears conflict so much that they let the kids lead on everything. Parents who fall into this end up spoiling their kids without meaning to. They avoid setting any real rules at home because rules felt too close to how they were raised. Too harsh, too scary. If you want a full deep dive on permissive parenting, let me know in the comments below. There's way too much to unpack for this video. But here's what I really need you to hear. Parents aren't following gentle parenting wrong because they're lazy, or because they don't care, or because they hate conflict with their own kids. They're following it wrong because their body feels unsafe the second there's a fight. We keep blaming parenting when the real issue is something else entirely. Our childhood chose gentle parenting long before we ever became parents. Let me explain what I mean. I want to introduce you to someone. Let's call her Phyllis. Phyllis is 33. She works full-time or part-time, doesn't matter. She's exhausted either way. Phyllis is a good mom. She really is. But she's constantly stuck in this cycle of exhaustion, resentment, and guilt. Rinse and repeat. Phyllis grew up in a household where emotions were ignored or punished. Crying was met with annoyance or just silence. She learned early that love had strings attached. So now, as an adult, Phyllis makes a vow. I'm going to parent differently. Sound familiar? One day, she's scrolling Facebook and sees gentle parenting. It promises no fighting, no power struggles, just love and connection. And her whole body goes, finally, safety. But here's what's actually happening. Week 1, she's excited. I'm doing it differently than my parents. Month 3, she's talking calmly, validating feelings, doing everything right, and somehow her kid's behavior is getting worse. Year 1, her kids are out of control and she's running on fumes. Year 2, she's lying awake at night thinking, why isn't this working and what am I doing wrong? She blames gentle parenting. But here's what Phyllis didn't see. In her mind, parenting differently meant she'd finally become the parent she wished she had, that her kids wouldn't carry the same scars she did. But because conflict terrifies her, because it lives in her body as danger, she avoids boundaries completely. And suddenly, she's not doing gentle parenting anymore. She's recreating her childhood wounds, just from the opposite direction. Her kid isn't learning emotional regulation. Her kid is learning that boundaries collapse the second emotions get big. And Phyllis blames the method, when the real barrier is the trauma she never healed. So, is gentle parenting as bad as everyone says? No, the method is fine. The unhealed childhood wound is the problem. You can't use a calm, regulated method if your own nervous system never learned what calm or regulated even feels like. Gentle parenting doesn't fail because the method is flawed. It fails because the parent is still hurting. If you want to learn how to actually stay calm, set real boundaries, and break the cycle without losing yourself in the process, we're launching a course in May of 2026 called the Calm Parenting Method. Head to rawparentingpodcast.com to learn more. And if you want to understand how your childhood might still be raising your kids without you realizing it, watch the video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.